Q family.
Biden's a child molester. And he kidnaps children and does horrible things to them. Just
That
like
sucks.
Hillary Clinton and Obama, who made the virus.
Wait,
The
what?
virus is man-made. And he kidnaps children and does horrible things to them. Just like Hillary Clinton and Obama.
Oh, Hillary Clinton and Obama. Oh, yo, for sure. For sure, yep.
Obama, who made the virus. The virus.
Oh, Obama made COVID. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
This is man-made. It doesn't exist. Kids need to be put back in school.
I love how Baldy in the background here is like looking down with like that smirk of approval. He's like, damn, it's gonna be all right. The kids is gonna be all right. Wow, yeah, we're gonna be okay. Yeah.
The people who are pulling the strings is the Italian Vatican. They actually are reptilian bloodlines from another planet.
Okay, so this kid's like fucking like, all right, so it's not like just like your run-of-the-mill, like, you know, like, no, okay, so this is just like all the way. Yeah, like, so basically instead of watching Lord of the Rings growing up like me, he watched banned YouTube videos, basically, like conspiracy YouTube videos. Yeah, okay. For sure.
Basically robots.
Yeah.
And the evil people that are there, such as the Rothschilds, who suck blood out of children to get...
It's called adrenochrome. That's like a whole thing that they believe, is that they believe they fucking like scare the shit out of kids or like torture them to get like blood out of their body, and then they use it, like people like Hillary Clinton use it in order to stay young. And they'll have like these pictures of like Hillary Clinton with like 5 days apart. And it's like one of the pictures she looks like old and the other one she looks young. And somebody's like, oh, wow, she must have gotten a new, a new batch of adrenochrome. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. So you just don't even get it. Can't explain that? Yeah.
Adrenochrome and stay young and beautiful forever.
There
they
it is.
Pick them up and they...
Well, I think right there, I mean, you can fucking assume that shit's not true. Here's how I knew it wasn't fucking true. Is like Aztecs used to fucking go and sacrifice people all the time. They're dead. So like this adrenochrome shit, there's no way it works. Because like the Aztecs would still be around. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. Like, obviously that's just fake.
Take them to a submarine and go underground until they can get to Epstein Island, which is where they molest children.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can see that. I never had these.
Uh-oh, he's got the pistol. Headshot.
Damn, so they're really in on it. They got Trump right there. Keep America Great. Letters to Santa. Holy fuck. Wow.
I went to McDonald's today and I wanted to get a muffin and I found human teeth in my muffin.
Uh-oh.
Oh, give me a second. Let me see what the dude's shirt says. We're at 113. We're all oh, where we go one, we go all. That's it's a QAnon phrase. I think it was first popularized by Michael Flynn. Yeah, in case anybody doesn't know this.
And I wanted to get a muffin and I found human teeth in my muffin.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's inside McDonald's food?
I think it's like grind up children.
People do...
Damn, that's crazy. I wonder if their parents taught them that. Wow.
evil shit. That's it. And these people have plenty of opportunity. They got more money than God. I think the military is going to arrest the whole damn government.
Some people say that there's going to be...
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people would think is like after Biden won the election, the QAnon people were like in copium overdose mode. And they thought that Trump was just biding his time to collect enough evidence to have the military arrest all of the Democrats. Like, that was a pretty much like... And like, it was going to happen in 2 weeks, yeah. and like then like after 2 weeks happened, it didn't happen. So like then it was like, okay, so like, but then it's gonna be 2 more weeks. Oh, it's like, all right, yeah, that makes sense, right? Because sometimes, I mean, that's kind of a big deal, right? So you probably should, you know, wait a little bit longer for something like that to happen.
A blackout, no television except for Donald J. Trump screening on live news. And what he's going to do is he's going to lock up all the other pedophiles and reptilian bloodlines and put them in jail.
Where do you get your information?
Well, at least like the good thing about this is at least it's not racist. You know what I mean? Like at least they're not talking about how much they hate black people or some shit. Yet. Oh, fuck.
The dark stream media, like I said, what you have to do is you have to search on the normal media for someone who knows how to get into the dark stream media. And another good place to check is the Trump media, which is actually telling all the truth.
Truth Social.
At this point,
Well, of course it's obviously telling the truth. How could it not be telling the truth if it was on a website called Truth Social? I mean, like, fuck. It's in the name.
Actually gone on a Q board. So for the first time, I had Jaden's dad, Brandon, take me headfirst into QAnon.pub, which is the main Q board.
Oh, good.
Let me see here.
I want to look at his tabs.
Q board.
Let me see.
Okay, so it's not like porn or some shit. Okay. All right.
See here.
Now you have to understand that he speaks in cryptic code. There's actually a Q clock that you have to decipher all this stuff from.
So this is a actual Q drop.
Yep. Anderson Cooper, and you can see all the satanic artwork in the background, which is just troubling. I mean, you have a man here getting burned alive while there's some sort of satanic ritual going around in the background.
But I thought that got photoshopped in though, like. But I mean, like, didn't they just? I mean, like, I don't. Like, I feel. I mean, I don't think Anderson Cooper. I mean, he's not there, right? That's like it's like a fucking Photoshop picture, right? Sacrifice. Well, I mean, that is. I mean, to be fair, that is how it sounds.
And you have a man here getting burned alive while there's some sort of satanic ritual going around in the background.
Yeah. Sacrifice is misspelled. Do you think that's also cryptic?
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are smart. Yeah. Anything that's misspelled, anything that looks out of the ordinary, there's something to it. The purpose of the movement is to question everything. Inside the pepper, you have...
Well, it's not to question everything because he never questions this. Like, the thing is, I would be fine if it's like question everything, but it's like, who questions the questioners? You know what I mean? Like that, it's like Chipotle. Okay, all right. So what's Chipotle have to do with the Illuminati? Let's find out.
That upside down kind of triangle, if you will. Yeah. This is the sign for a boy lover, right here.
It's a sound for a boy lover?
Is to question everything. Inside the pepper, you have that upside down kind of triangle, if you will. Yeah. This is the sign for a boy lover, right here.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know about that. Like, I don't think so. Like, I've been to Chipotle, like, a lot. And they never talk about that at all. There's, like, no kids on the menu or nothing. You just get steak or chicken, and that's it. I mean, you get queso, but, like, I mean, there's no kids. What the hell are they? It's a secret menu. Oh, is it? Oh, it's a secret menu, like In and Out. Oh, that meant now it makes sense. Damn, bro, I didn't even know about that. Here's the way I look at this fucking QAnon shit, right? Is like, I remember like my mom got into this QAnon shit for a while, and I told her like, all right, you know what? I'll suspend my disbelief. I will sit down, I will listen, and I will, you know, take it at its word. And I'll be like, okay, so Donald Trump's going to arrest all these people and it's going to be done. It's going to be in 2 weeks. Well, fuck. We don't even have to wait that long. We just give it a day or so or a few days and we'll see what happens. And 2 weeks came around. Nothing happened. And I'm like, well, what about that? She's like, well, you know, it is what it is, right? I mean, you know, Q works in mysterious ways. And I go like after like probably like 6 months of this shit, you know, my mom used to be like a scientist. She used to have a, like, she had like a degree in like science shit, right? And she's like, man, I'm starting to think this 2 weeks thing is bullshit. Even she was like, man, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think this is gonna happen. Like, this is just like, it's taking a bit too long. And yeah, I could see that she was getting pissed off about it too. And it's just crazy because the thing is, like, at this point, it's like a cult. And this is what happens with a lot of cults, is that they get you to a point where you have to, like, fucking actively reject reality in order to advance in the cult. And, like, that's whenever they know they really got you on the line. They got you on the hook because they know that you will be willing to forsake reality to replace it with the reality they provide for you. And this is the point where QAnon has been at for a while. I still don't understand, like, who fucking wrote this fucking glitch in the Matrix that turned people that are fucking 50, like boomers, like 65-year-old boomers, calling themselves Anons on 4chan unironically. Like, I'm telling you, man, like, back whenever that Boxy shit was happening on 4chan in, like, 2006, I never imagined this could even happen. Can you imagine? Like, what the fuck? There was a 4chan shitpost. Yeah, how did it come to? How did this happen?
Go Trump! He's still your president! He's still your president!
They are very, very good kids. We're very blessed, and that's why I'm comfortable with making the decision to keep them out of school.
The presidents of the United States, Christmas break, government, that's the Constitution. All right, well, all this stuff, like, I mean, we don't have, like, for example, like, Jesus isn't in front of George Washington. Like, all this stuff seems to be relatively real. Like, I think that this is about that's about the way things went, yeah.
Very good kids. We're very blessed, and that's why I'm comfortable with making the decision to keep them out of school, even that means...
Oh, so the kids don't go to school. I'm sure that'll be good for them. I'm sure that will be very helpful.
They don't have all the friends to be around, and, you know.
Yeah, because they don't have any friends, so nobody's going to be able to... Does she have that fucking bullshit around her ears? Like that gauge shit?
I don't want my kids wearing a mask.
No, never mind.
Do you guys miss going to school?
Very much. It's not, the virus is man-made, like my dad said, so it's worthless not going to school.
So they basically kept the kids home from school because of COVID? Like, I'll tell y'all, like, that's sad. I'm honestly, like, it's just sad. Like, it's not even, like, really a joke that you can make about that. It's just depressing. I would say, like, if I had kids, I would want them to go to public school. Like, I wouldn't want them to go to some private school where you learn a bunch of, like, fucking, like, high-tech shit. Like, you gotta go to public school and learn how to deal with people. Learn how to be in a group with somebody who, you know, they roll blunts in class. And figure out how to work with this person, because that's real life.
We're gonna have to wear the mask like for 24/7 if we have to go back.
For
Like,
24/7?
Imagine if coronavirus never exists. Would you like to go back to school?
Yeah, I was met with my friends. My mom is saying like she wants to homeschool us, but the only thing that's holding her back is our friends. I don't have a lot of friends. I just have like one.
The only thing that's holding her back is her friends. Oh, yeah.
You have
I have 0.
Come on, everyone has one friend.
You have us at least.
Okay.
Yeah. Which friend do you miss the most?
Probably like Caitlin,
Why?
cause she's like the only one who gets me.
It's sad that they don't have a lot of friends to play with.
Yeah,
but
it is.
I think in the long run, they'll be better adults, having a better education than being popular.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I would say probably not. Yeah, I mean, like, probably, I don't think that's what would happen. Adults with no childhood. I mean, I had, there's these kids up the street from me. It's, AJ and Shelby. They got, homeschooled, and their parents were super religious. And both of them are actually incredibly happy, like, living successful lives. And, you know, actually more fulfilled than the majority of my friends. I think they're doing better. You know, they're ahead on the bell curve. So it's not like it's not like it can't happen, but I do think there is something you learn from going to public school and getting along with people. Like that's shit. Sorry, give me just 1 sec. I don't know what the fuck that was. You're a smart mom, sure. Well, I mean, they were all right. I mean, they weren't like super fucking like intelligent or anything. Like they were smart though, yeah, but they weren't like PhD or anything. And how to socialize, yeah, it's how to socialize. I think that's what matters. And homeschooling is okay if it done properly, but that's just brainwashing your kids. Absolutely, it is. It's sad. I feel bad for the kids, man. Like you got this this woman here telling them like, oh, it's gonna be better if they're an adult, man. Like, get the fuck out of here. How are you doing? Like, it's just sad. It's sad to see people that get so caught up in like this QAnon shit. Now, my opinion on this in general is like, if somebody gets caught up and wrapped up in this bullshit, like that's on them. It's just disappointing that they put their kids involved. They put their kids in the line of fire. They get their kids involved in this shit, and they invest in that, right? Like they make it like the kid's life. It's like it's not enough for it to be your life. It has to be your kid's life too. Like I'll tell you one thing is like my dad, like, you know, there were things he liked doing, and like some of those things I didn't like doing. He didn't make me do those things. I just did whatever the fuck I wanted to do, and you know, we found space in between. And so anytime that like parents go and they try to force their fucking kid into doing some sort of thing, that's just, oh man, like my mom was the same way. That's just not good. It's almost never healthy. They don't allow the kids to make a decision themselves. Yeah. I think they're doing a good thing. You think it's the same as forcing kids to go to church? No, it's not the same thing as forcing kids to go to church, because one of them replaces the other. So like, for example, like they're not going to school because of this. But like if you take a kid to church, he can still go to school and go to church at the same time. So like one removes the other. So yeah, it's not the same thing. Church is boring? Yeah, it was. It's like seeing that old sports, yeah, toxic sports dad, yeah, exactly, like dads that try to get their kid into sports and like push their kid into sports even though the kid doesn't really want to, yeah. And church is integrated to society, not QAnon shit. I mean, it isn't now. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna link you all this shit. Like, this is actually sad. Taking out of school, my parents never homeschooled. This planned lack of experiences definitely impacted me for longer than it did for my friends of mine. I burnt my father's house down, to say the least, and he's a pastor, I understand. Damn, that got intense. Holy fuck. Yeah, I mean, I like, they never did any of that. Like, yeah, that didn't, like, I mean, AJ and them, they never burnt the house down. Like, that didn't happen. Like, it was just like, yeah, that was about it. Beauty pageant moms. I think, like, beauty pageants, like, child beauty pageants should be just illegal. I can't believe that shit is real. Like, no, I can believe it's real. I can't believe that, like, they should just have, like, deputies on site. So, like, if you show up there and it's, like, not your daughter that's in the pageant, they just take you to the station, like, just ahead of time, right? Just, like, as a preventive thing to just make sure that, you know, there's nothing wrong. I feel like that would just be, yeah, that'd just be good for everybody, you know what I mean? It's always Sunny episode with pageants was so good. I mean, I don't really need somebody to go out and convince me that having child beauty pageants is fucking creepy, man. Like, it's, anytime people go and they have, like, some fucking, some way that they want to introduce kids into sexuality or something like that, bro, there's, like, never a time that I see something like that and it's not creepy as fuck. It's so fucking weird. I hate it. Basically a pedo show? Yeah, it's gross. I think anybody doing that shit, yeah, it's always weird. Absolutely. Oh, I'll watch this real quick. Since it's the same general topic.
One of our favorite segments here, YouTuber Andrew Callahan.
I don't know what this
appeared on Don Lemon's show over at CNN to promote a new documentary, which looks really interesting. And he really triggered Don Lemon when he commented on the cable news business model. Let's take a listen.
The movie's not just about, like, the Capitol riot and all that. It's also about, like, media echo chambers. You know what I mean? And, like, the dangers of the 24-hour news cycle.
No, I don't think he knows what you mean, Andrew. I don't... I don't think he has any idea.
And how I think mainstream media like Fox and even CNN like competes for views by running constant 24-hour news cycles based upon fear, division, outrage, and panic, probably to like sell ads. So it's not just about the Capitol riot.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. First of all, I don't agree with what you're saying, but I'm not exactly sure of how that played into people going into the Capitol and rioting on January 6th.
Well, what do you mean? How do you not know how that happened? It's like, that's such a dumb thing for him to say. Like, that's so stupid because, like, I bet I can almost guarantee you that there's been some clip of Don Lemon saying on some degree that, like, Fox News echo chambers is what led to escalation to January 6th. I feel like this is a very popular opinion that a lot of people have. And I would be very surprised if he never said anything similar to that. But I think it got triggered because obviously it was talking about his own show.
There's nothing fake about CNN.
Oh, I'm not saying like fake news. I'm just saying ramping people up and increasing division during that period of time. Just watching people kind of fall down the rabbit hole and be pushed into action and like just, yeah, falling down the conspiracy rabbit hole.
Wow. Well, it's just common sense, right? It's like, obviously CNN is a publicly traded company, isn't it? So they have to do whatever they can to make money. And what's going to make people watch the show more? What's going to make people watch the channel more? Well, it's going to be things that upset them and people that get mad and shit like that. So obviously, if the company is operating in its best interest and for the fiduciary responsibility that they have to their shareholders, they are going to publish things that are inflammatory over things that are more even-handed, because the inflammatory things get more people talking and focusing on them. Every news company does this. It's nothing special with CNN. Fox, MSNBC, all of these places do it. And the only saving grace that some of the alternative media have is that they go out and they just say that they're biased right off the rip. So it's like they don't go and be like, oh, well, we're an unbiased source. They say, oh, we think Donald Trump is the president, and here's why. Like, they're not any better.
He really triggered him there in the most Don Lemon way possible. I don't necessarily agree. And look, what your responsibility for his own role over the last, 4 years, 5 years or whatever in the Trump era of doing the exact same thing that he accuses Fox of doing every single night, Crystal.
Yeah, and they want to say, oh, we're not as bad as Fox. We're not as bad as OAN. We're not as bad as, like, whoever. But
not as bad as is not a very good argument. Like, I don't know why people go and they say this shit. Like, obviously, there are bad things that CNN and these places do, too. Like, I mean, goddamn. Why do you have to fucking... Why can't you just take a lowercase L? Even if it's not, like, yeah, maybe Fox takes a capital L, but you still take a lowercase one. Like, what are you worried about? Openly right-wing and left-wing hosts, so each news commented their both perspectives is relatively more nuanced. All right, I'll watch what they said about it.
In the most Don Lemon way possible. I don't necessarily agree. And look, what you're watching is the lack of ability to grapple with what their job actually is. Andrew has them pegged properly. Their job is to gin people up so that they stay tuned in between the ad breaks. That's it. That's
Which,
all.
by the way, is his job, too. That's why it says Andrew Callahan triggers Don Lemon live on CNN, right? I mean, like, you like, I mean, is this really is this really an accurate title? Like, not really. Like, it's Don Lemon, Andrew Callahan says something that Don Lemon disagrees with. So, like, everybody does this. I just wish people would just fucking accept reality. And that way, like, because why I don't like it is because, like, everybody's pretending like they don't do it. And that's the problem, is like, it's like everybody's saying that you have the problem, but everybody has the problem, including that person who's saying it.
All you're supposed to do. The ad breaks are the only business. The actual news is just secondary. It's what gets people glued to the screen. And so he was like, look, you and Fox are both ginning people up, which causes people to go down rabbit holes. You do it for business purposes, and that has real world consequences in our politics, of which resulted in January 6th. I really appreciate him not just doing the typical like Fox News doing this, you know, they're the only ones. Because, yeah, look, of course they are, but it's everybody. The whole point is that it's an entire system which is designed to gin up hate against others and which can have devastating consequences then in the real world. And look,
yeah, no, that's definitely true. I mean, the media portrays something in a certain way, and then everybody gets upset about it. And yeah, it does affect the real world. Absolutely. And I think at a certain point, whenever you have people that are fucking escalating tensions in the country to these like untenable levels that boil over in riots and other types of crazy shit like this, where's the accountability for that? Where's the accountability for people that are like willfully misrepresenting information? And then what? It's so annoying.
Really, Don didn't like that very much, and he doesn't want to take any responsibility for his own role over the last, what, 4 years, 5 years or whatever in the Trump era of doing the exact same thing that he accuses Fox of doing every single night, Crystal.
Yeah, and they want to say, oh, we're not as bad as Fox. We're not as bad as OAN. We're not as bad as, like, whoever. But, you know, ultimately, CNN, MSNBC, all of them are kind of poison. They're all bad for the country. And so, you know, Andrew, who's a very interesting creator, a really strong creator, actually, I encourage you to check out his YouTube
I'm gonna watch
channel.
This interview.
He kind of has them dead to rights here. And at the beginning of the segment, they set it up like, you know, this is all about January 6th, this new documentary about January 6th. And he clearly takes issue with that. And it's like, well, you're kind of missing some of the point here, because you may want to use this to just exclusively serve the narratives that you're interested in. But there was actually a broader point here about the news media's role in this and the divisiveness of that and the problem with the 24-hour news cycle and serving your advertisers and keeping people glued to the screen.
That's
and
true.
He and Caitlin Collins both get very uncomfortable with that part of the conversation, immediately try to shut it down and move back to the...
Well, of course they do, because he's calling him a fraud. Like, no fucking shit. If anybody was getting called a clown on their own show, they're going to try to shut that up. Duh.
Points that they are comfortable opining on.
Yeah, I mean, I think I encourage people to watch this trailer and to check out the doc whenever it's out. I also watched Into the Storm, the QAnon documentary, and I just came away with that with like a much deeper understanding of like, wow, like this stuff is real. You know, people really can just lose themselves entirely in this. And it's a broader societal problem of which the media is complicit in. But there's also many other structural factors. And unfortunately, the Don Lemons of the world just simply don't want to question not even their own complicity, but what leads to society to like get to this point where people are so angry that they're willing to literally willing to storm the Capitol based on the word of Donald J. Trump. That's a really interesting question if you want to look into it. It doesn't have to be just, you know, like about other people being bad. But, you know, whenever you have the business model that they do, well, that really is the only one-dimensional view that you're allowed to take. So I really appreciate it.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, because they don't want to have they don't want to alienate people, because also you get to the point where, and this is what happens whenever you do political commentary a lot, is like if you do a lot of political commentary and you kind of have like one lean with like your viewpoints, anytime that you put out any sort of an opinion that's on the other side, even if it's like 51%, 49, it's like 49% on your normal side, but it's 51% on the other side, you're a traitor. You know, I thought I respected you, but you're just another one of those clowns doing it for clicks. I fucking hate you. It's exactly what happens every fucking time. It's sad.
It's on CNN and kind of setting the record straight. I also love that he is just he's like, yo, come on. He's like, that's what you guys are willing to do here in his own very Andrew way. It was great.
Yeah, of course.
The other thing that I enjoyed about this exchange is it was sort of like two worlds colliding, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They don't quite know what to do with him. And it is like a traditional media and new independent media like being oil and water effectively in this interview. They're engaged in two very different processes and engaged in two very different activities. So it's kind of funny to see those two worlds collide, and Lemon and Caitlin Collins really having no idea what to do with him.
Hey guys.
I think, to be fair, if he was on Fox News and like Tucker Carlson was interviewing him, Tucker Carlson would say, yeah, true. And the thing with CNN especially is it's like they'd both do this. Like it's not like this is anything special with CNN. I don't want anybody to go and be like, oh, wow, CNN is so biased. Like, yeah, CNN has biases with shit, of course. But like they all do.